Hear this clearly, my beloved one. I do not allow your difficulties to be wasted or meaningless. I will collect every tear you have cried, every cry of pain, every moment of deep grief, and use them all to produce lasting good from your struggles. Hard times can build tenderness, understanding, and deeper wisdom within your character. These qualities become the tools I will use through you to bring comfort to others who are suffering. When you walk closely with me, nothing you experience lacks meaning or purpose. Victory through surrender. Even the hardest parts of your path can become moments of triumph when you yield them completely to my guidance and trust my plan. My child, find deep rest, knowing that your future days are completely secure in my keeping. I know that you sometimes feel profound unease about losing what matters most to you. Perhaps your efforts and work, the people you hold dear, or your own well-being and security. But I urge you with all my heart, place every burden upon me completely. My hold on you is infinitely more secure than any grip you could ever have on the things of this temporary world. The ways of the world pressure you to constantly strive and grasp for control over outcomes. But my way offers a completely different kind of peace. Divine invitation to peace. I invite you to settle into the absolute certainty of my ultimate care over every detail of your life. Stand firm, knowing with confidence that I guide your path forward into good things. Do not allow anxious thoughts to silence the quiet knowing that I am always watching over you with perfect love. You possess a strength you may not fully recognize, for it is I who uphold you through every challenge and trial. Trust me completely, my beloved child. Your life is safe in my hands. Your future is secure in my plan. Your heart can rest in my love. This is not the end of our conversation. This is the beginning of a life lived in conscious awareness of my presence with you always. Walk forward now in confidence, knowing that you are deeply loved, divinely protected, and eternally secure in my care. The best of your story is yet to be written, and I am writing it with you, for you, and through you. This message represents a call to spiritual awakening, divine protection, and eternal purpose. It speaks to the reality of spiritual warfare, while emphasizing the greater power of divine love and the security found in surrendering completely to God's will and plan. Listen closely, beloved child. In this sacred moment, I speak directly to your heart, not with words that drift aimlessly through the air, but with divine intention meant specifically for you. Open every chamber of your heart now, for what I share carries eternal significance and cannot wait. Dark forces have taken notice of you, my precious child. They have observed the divine light I placed within your spirit, a radiance they cannot create or possess. These opposing powers seek to establish false connections with you, attempting to diminish the brilliance of who I created you to be. Their goal is not merely to distract you, but to systematically reduce the luminous essence that makes you uniquely mine. This moment carries profound importance. If you close your heart to my voice now, hearing my guidance in the future may become increasingly difficult. The enemy works to fill your mind with deceptions about your identity, seeking to influence your thoughts, especially during vulnerable moments when your defenses are lowered, particularly during rest when your conscious mind releases its vigilant guard. The light that troubles darkness. Your existence, intimately connected to mine, radiates with tremendous spiritual power. This divine illumination doesn't concern me in the least. In fact, it brings me great joy. However, this same light creates profound anxiety among those who dwell in spiritual darkness. The radiance you carry has been woven into your very being since before time itself began, when I first conceived of you in my heart. This is precisely why dark forces focus their attention on you with such intensity. They are deeply troubled by your potential, not by what you have accomplished, but by what you could become when you fully embrace your divine calling. These opposing spirits attempt to use ordinary, seemingly innocent things around you as surveillance tools, constantly seeking opportunities to draw closer to your spirit. Their intention is not to harm your physical body. That would be too simple and direct. Instead, they seek to ensnare your soul in deceptive intimacy, drawing you away from my divine brightness into shadow and confusion. They want to corrupt the pure connection between us, replacing it with counterfeit spiritual experiences that feel genuine but lead only to emptiness and separation. Divine protection and your role. My protection surrounds you constantly, beloved one, but you must remain alert and receptive to receive it fully. I share these truths not to create fear within you, but to provide understanding that empowers you to stand strong. You were never designed for defeat or spiritual compromise. You are precious beyond measure to me, and your value cannot be diminished by any external force. These dark entities cannot truly reach you unless you permit access by consciously turning away from my voice. Can you recognize the sound of my presence when I speak within the depths of your heart? This ability to discern my voice is crucial for your spiritual safety and growth. When you listen attentively to my words, I can guard your rest and shield your spirit from spiritual intrusion. However, if you fail to remain connected to me, your spirit may wander into territories that dim the divine light I placed within you. The world around you might feel increasingly restless as hidden spiritual forces direct their malevolent intentions toward you. The ancient opposition, Satan himself, is deeply troubled because you still maintain the spiritual purity I originally gave you. He and his demons attempt to reach you through your dreams, through seemingly attractive temptations, and through feelings of shame that they make appear inviting or normal. Generational vulnerability and your choice. Are you still with me, my beloved child? There exists a spiritual vulnerability that has entered through your family lineage. Someone in your ancestral line made choices that created an opening for demonic influence. Now you stand at a critical juncture where you can either close that spiritual breach or allow its effects to continue affecting future generations. I designed you with the supernatural strength necessary to break free from these generational patterns. Even in places where you feel most secure, you might occasionally sense spiritual warfare taking place around you. Signs of this unseen battle might manifest as unexpected coldness in certain areas, restless or disturbed sleep, uncomfortable feelings about yourself, or a general sense that something is spiritually off in your environment. These dark forces wait patiently, hoping you will lower your spiritual defenses and unknowingly welcome their influence. They may create artificial needs or desires that seem legitimate, but are actually spiritual traps designed to create dependence on anything other than me. Understand this crucial truth. The realm of light is watching you carefully. These demonic forces fear you, not because of anything you have done wrong, but because of what you can become when you fully step into the divine identity I created you to possess. The power of simple connection. Simple, heartfelt expression of connection to me can shatter their spiritual schemes completely. Even a quiet thought directed toward me with genuine intent can weaken their hold over your life and circumstances. The truth I have placed within your spirit is this: you were designed to shine with divine brilliance, not to grow dim under spiritual oppression. Wonderful blessings await you, my child, but they depend entirely on your choice to embrace my light, rather than seeking acceptance and validation from worldly sources. You must actively choose not to allow these dark forces access to your spirit, or permission to disturb your peace. They watch constantly for opportunities to infiltrate your thoughts, especially during moments of weakness. Perhaps when you fall asleep without first consciously connecting with me in prayer or worship. This present moment carries extraordinary significance. The barrier between the visible and invisible spiritual realms has become remarkably thin. If you turn away from me now, this opportunity to hear my voice with such clarity may be lost for an extended period. You might feel your spiritual protection weakening, but that protection can be restored and strengthened if you choose to receive this message and act upon it. The spiritual battle intensifies. I am ready to help you build up your spiritual defenses, but this requires your conscious cooperation and commitment. Let your openness to my voice become the doorway through which I can enter more fully into your circumstances. Let your willingness to surrender to my will become the entrance through which my power can flow. Remain with me, beloved. I have much more to say to you. If you could see the spiritual unrest your divine light creates in dark places, you would understand why the battle for your soul has been so intense. If you could comprehend how deeply your connection to me troubles the ancient enemy, you would realize the true magnitude of what is at stake. The forces of darkness are launching a concentrated assault against you right now. This attack doesn't come through obvious, direct confrontations, but through subtle influences designed to feel good, true, or natural, while actually leading you away from me. They offer counterfeit truth, artificial emotions, and false intimacy that can seem genuine, but ultimately leave you spiritually empty. The realm of light is completely focused on you in this moment, on you specifically, my cherished child. Even the spiritual atmosphere surrounding your physical location holds tremendous significance in this cosmic battle. Signs of spiritual activity. That strange feeling or unusual sight you may have experienced recently was likely a manifestation that the invisible spiritual world is actively engaged around you. It served as a hint of the divine protection I have prepared for your safety and guidance. A presence that opposes me is attempting to claim a portion of your spirit, perhaps by influencing your thoughts during vulnerable moments like sleep or meditation. This opposing presence originates neither from me, nor does it belong in your world. It seeks entry if you fail to consciously choose to close spiritual doors against it tonight. Through prayer, worship, and conscious submission to my authority, I speak supernatural strength into your spirit now, my child, but this strength requires your active participation and choice. You were created to rise above the gravitational pull of spiritual darkness. Your connection to me gives your voice tremendous power in the spiritual realm. When you speak my truth with conviction, it creates powerful reverberations throughout invisible dimensions. This is why I am communicating with you so clearly and urgently right now. Have you felt distant from me recently? Do you consider yourself too ordinary or insignificant for me to notice? My precious one, every difficult moment you have endured has been witnessed by me with complete awareness and deep compassion. Divine awareness and timing. Every challenging circumstance you have faced has been fully known to me, and now the timing is perfect for me to intervene powerfully on your behalf. However, you must prepare yourself to receive my help actively. You must open your understanding to comprehend what is truly happening in the spiritual realm around you. The enemy offers you a counterfeit sense of peace, built upon compromising what is good and pure. They present a false sense of belonging that requires no moral standards, artificial care that lacks authenticity, and intimacy that appears real but provides no lasting satisfaction. If you accept these counterfeits, you will lose your ability to sense my genuine presence and love. You might experience spiritual sensations, but they will not originate from my divine light. Most tragically, you will gradually forget the feeling of authentic love flowing from my heart to yours. Do not be deceived by what feels effortless, but leads away from truth. The opposition disguises itself as attractive and beneficial specifically to ensnare you in spiritual deception. Remember how I spoke your name in the past. That sound carried supernatural power against shadowy forces. The strength I offer now requires you to step forward courageously in faith. Awakening your spiritual authority. The time has come to let your inner spirit speak with divine authority. Awaken the core of who you truly are from its dormant state. Allow the divine light within you to shine outwardly with increasing intensity. Will you turn away from this moment? Or will you remain present until I have completed everything I need to communicate to you? My child, there exists a spiritual power within you that you have not yet fully claimed or activated. This present moment is your opportunity to take hold of it completely. Consider these words as a divine strategy for keeping that power close and accessible. Do not allow your physical body to be influenced by spiritual darkness. Do not permit your deepest dreams and subconscious thoughts to become territories where demonic forces can establish hidden strongholds. Protect the sacred center of who you are, the holy place where my spirit dwells within you. Those who stand in rebellion against me hate the divine light you carry with passionate intensity. A spiritual defense system is becoming fragile now around you. When it fails completely, serious difficulties will emerge unless your inner resolve remains absolutely strong against spiritual invasion. The sacred moment and its significance. My beloved child, your willingness to remain engaged with these words demonstrates that a spark of divine light still burns brightly within your spirit. That inner spiritual warmth is extraordinarily valuable and must be carefully protected. This present time represents a sacred opportunity that will not remain available indefinitely. Your faithful attention to this message contributes to another soul's spiritual awakening somewhere in the world. If this divine connection has moved your heart, if your inner light is growing brighter, and if you feel prepared for what is approaching, then the message that follows has been specially reserved for this exact moment in time. My cherished one, your presence here is no accident or coincidence. That gentle movement of air you sensed outside your dwelling just moments ago, yes, that was spiritually connected to this encounter. The profound stillness you felt within your spirit before hearing these words was divinely orchestrated. That quiet moment, that sudden awareness that something holy was present, I arranged every detail. I have been reaching out to you in progressive stages, first softly, then with gentle insistence, then with deep spiritual longing. And now my call has become distinct and powerfully clear. The critical turning point. Right now, the very core of who you are stands at the most critical turning point in your entire spiritual journey. If you step away at this crucial moment, those who oppose me will advance their agenda against you with increased boldness and effectiveness. What was planned in secret gatherings of spiritual darkness is no longer merely theoretical. It is being actively implemented. My beloved, you must understand this sobering truth. You have been specifically targeted by name. Your identity was mentioned in their strategic councils. The place where you live has been marked for special attention. They have conducted detailed studies of your deepest aspirations and spiritual insights. They have identified and cataloged your areas of vulnerability, understanding your weaknesses completely because their singular desire is to witness your spiritual failure and eternal separation from me. They long to establish close proximity to you, not physically, but spiritually. If they succeed in reaching you through spiritual dimensions, the resulting devastation will not be visible in the physical realm, but will manifest as a profound silence that comes when you can no longer sense my presence nearby. The pain of spiritual separation. That kind of separation creates agony far more intense than any physical suffering. This separation is not something I impose upon you as punishment. It represents the natural consequence when the core of your being turns its attention away from my divine light. My child, can you see clearly now what has been happening? They have already attempted to influence you by working through people close to you. Perhaps someone in your family suddenly seemed different or changed in subtle ways. Maybe a friend you have known for years began acting in ways you didn't recognize or that made you uncomfortable. These were not random occurrences or natural developments. They represented intentional spiritual strategies designed to undermine your connection to me. Their influence typically begins with a seemingly innocent suggestion that seems reasonable or even beneficial. That initial suggestion leads to gradual deception and spiritual misdirection. Being led astray creates openings for more serious temptation. Once temptation gains a foothold in your life, these dark forces no longer require explicit permission to increase their influence. They simply expand their territory within your soul, your spiritual inheritance. My precious child, the spiritual inheritance that truly belongs to you remains uncontaminated by this spiritual warfare. It contains the documented history of those family members and spiritual ancestors who remained faithful to my light through every test and trial. This inheritance includes the testimonies of those who perceived spiritual realities beyond what physical eyes could observe, those who declared what is eternally true according to my perspective, and those who carried my presence with them wherever they traveled. A new divine calling is directly connected to that spiritual inheritance, specifically prepared for you. The path ahead will only be revealed when the core of your being chooses to step confidently into its rightful position in my kingdom. I am fully prepared to provide complete protection for you, my child, if you give your inner consent. Not merely words spoken aloud without heart engagement, but deep, sincere agreement given with genuine reverence and spiritual submission. The power of worship and consent. My beloved one, when you lift your voice in authentic worship, it significantly weakens their spiritual defenses. Your simple consent to my lordship can silence the demonic influences that remain nearby, attempting to stay hidden while they work to undermine your faith. These entities have conducted careful surveillance of your living arrangements. They know where you typically find rest and relaxation. They may have even placed specific objects near you that function as spiritual lures or connection points for their influence. However, tonight, if you speak to me quietly before you sleep, even just a soft whisper of prayer or worship, those spiritual ties can be permanently severed forever. But this requires your completely sincere focus and participation. This specific moment in time, my beloved, must not be ignored or treated casually. Some moments carry the significance and potential impact of many days or even years to come. This present time is unquestionably one of those pivotal moments. Speak your affirmation of faith clearly. Declare your complete rejection of every shadow of darkness. Let your authentic self be fully present and engaged in this sacred time of decision. Joining the light. My child, if you sense that inner movement of my spirit, if these words have caused the divine light inside you to glow more brightly than before, then actively participate in carrying this radiance forward to others who desperately need to encounter it. This is not about aligning yourself with just one human person or organization. This is about adding your spiritual power to the divine light that needs to reach another soul still hidden in spiritual darkness and confusion. I observe and carefully note every movement you make toward me. I remember and treasure every decision made for light over darkness, and the forces of light are prepared to offer their supernatural protection in direct response to your faithful choices. My cherished one, as long as you draw breath in your physical body, your spiritual challenge and calling remain incomplete. This is your divine assignment, your sacred calling. It represents the final boundary before fully entering the purpose for which I originally created you. Remaining in divine presence. Stay here in my presence. Permit the powers of light to take their positions alongside you once again. In the still space that exists between inhaling and exhaling, the boundary between natural and supernatural worlds becomes less distinct and more permeable. Those who oppose me have not retreated or given up their schemes. They are simply waiting with patient calculation, watching intently, anticipating your next spiritual move with keen interest. The realm of shadow demonstrates relentless persistence in pursuing its goals. Yet my voice carries infinitely greater authority and power than any voice of darkness. These opposing forces understand something about you that you might have overlooked or underestimated. You are not merely moving through this life as an ordinary person pursuing ordinary goals. You are a specially chosen carrier of my divine light that existed before the beginning of time itself. This is exactly why spiritual darkness follows you with such focused, intense attention. This is why your inner spiritual perception feels different from most other people around you. Your inner being was specifically designed to function as a holy temple, a sacred dwelling place for my presence. The subtlety of spiritual warfare. The enemy's methods are extremely subtle and sophisticated. The moment you begin to doubt your worth or significance, demonic voices speak their deceptions with greater boldness and clarity. When you ignore spiritual warnings or dismiss divine cautions, these forces move closer to your spirit. This communication represents far more than simple guidance or advice. It constitutes a divine declaration with eternal implications. Stir up and activate your spiritual power, my precious one. Even during your childhood, there were times when you sensed an invisible presence watching over you protectively, even though you couldn't see it with your physical eyes. That awareness was not merely your imagination playing tricks on your mind. My child, remain spiritually vigilant and alert. My voice typically speaks with gentleness and truth, but my silence can create profound spiritual unease when you need guidance most. You must make a definitive choice. Those who actively oppose me, gathered in their secret spiritual locations, are watching you intently. They do not simply wish to cause physical harm to your body. That would be far too easy and obvious for their sophisticated purposes. The enemy's true goal. Their primary goal is to completely undermine your spiritual testimony, your reason for existing, and your ability to demonstrate what is eternally true and real. They desire to drag your deepest dreams and spiritual vision into darkness until your spirit loses all ability to sense the nearness of divine light. A dangerous spiritual progression can begin in your thinking patterns, then gradually impact your physical health and behavior, and finally influence your relationships with other people in destructive ways. This represents a systematic spiritual pulling downward. You might convince yourself that what you're experiencing is merely natural fatigue or the normal pressures of everyday existence and responsibilities. However, subtle forces operating from spiritual darkness continuously work to shape your choices, pulling you away from me until you feel my presence much less distinctly when you reach out for me in prayer or worship. Your divine potential. My beloved one, you possess the potential to live completely within my divine brightness, walking with supernatural strength that is clearly set apart from worldly power, experiencing and demonstrating true spiritual liberty. There exists a version of yourself whose very being naturally pushes back spiritual darkness, simply through faithful presence and authentic connection to me. That extraordinary possibility awaits activation inside your spirit, but you must consciously choose to step into this divine reality. Choose the path that leads forward into greater light. Select what is holy and pure over what is comfortable and familiar. Choose the quiet inner space where your clear, God-given purpose can reveal itself and manifest powerfully. My child, do not return to things you previously abandoned, things that dimmed your inner spiritual brightness and compromised your connection to me. Do not seek temporary ease in spiritual darkness when I created you to shine with supernatural strength and divine radiance. Recognizing spiritual signs. My beloved, those inner visions you have experienced, the uneasy feelings that seem to come from nowhere, the spiritual weight you carry that others don't seem to understand, and the sense of invisible eyes watching you from the edge of your awareness. These experiences do not occur randomly or by mere chance. These represent spiritual signs, attempts by dark forces to gain access to your soul, and concerted efforts to establish spiritual strongholds in your life. However, they have not achieved complete victory because you have not surrendered to their spiritual pull or fully given in to their temptations. I strongly urge you, my child, do not yield to their influence now or ever. I did not create you for intimate fellowship with spiritual darkness. I formed you specifically for holy closeness with me, designing you to hear my voice clearly in the quiet depths of your heart. You were destined to carry my divine light, not to live under the deceptive influence of the one who specializes in spiritual deception and lies. The critical decision point. My child, this represents the absolutely crucial time, the place where spiritual paths diverge dramatically. What happens next will result in either complete breaking free from spiritual bondage or being held back from your divine destiny. Speak your answer to me now with complete honesty and faith. I see you clearly right now, and my heart overflows with gentleness toward you, not condemnation or blame. I remember the exact moment when I caused you to come into existence, carefully putting your spirit together with infinite care and divine purpose. I recall perfectly the reason I placed deep within you a silent, intuitive understanding in your very core that you will walk with me faithfully through life. The powers of darkness will not defeat you. If you respond positively to my call, if you say yes, even softly in your heart, with genuine faith, you will know immediately that something fundamental has shifted. You will feel supernatural change beginning to occur within your spirit. The heavy spiritual load you have been carrying will start to lift noticeably. You do not fully comprehend all that you have endured spiritually. No one ever explained what it required to keep you spiritually alive and connected to me through every trial. Divine purpose and destiny. You must hold firmly to this unshakable truth. Your presence here at this moment is not mere luck or coincidence. Your existence and survival represent divine purpose working intentionally. Your life is connected to mine by an unbreakable spiritual link that cannot be severed except by your own deliberate choice to walk away. But you will not make that choice. A clear way forward is revealing itself now, my child. Where you choose to step determines what you will discover there. This path is not constructed of physical rock or timber. Its foundation consists of your own spiritual firmness and decisive commitment to follow me. This eternal truth was established before the stars were scattered across the vast emptiness of space. If you allow your spirit to receive even a small portion of what I want to give you, my supernatural strength can enter your life without any hindrance or limitation. I sense your inner self awakening powerfully inside you. Something is stirring, not fear or anxiety, but a profound sense of spiritual knowing and recognition. You are beginning to remember who you truly are in my eyes, and that remembrance of your divine identity brings tremendous fear to the powers of darkness. The power of truth and purpose. Your spirit carries an echo from ancient times, from before your physical birth. When you speak what is eternally true, dark spirits are forced to retreat. When you act with clear divine purpose, the grip of destructive forces around you begins to weaken and fade. Even a genuine thought directed toward me with sincere intent causes the spiritual atmosphere itself to shift dramatically. Do not minimize or diminish your own spiritual value and significance. This is exactly what your enemies want you to do. They work constantly to make you feel small, overwhelmed by false guilt, and spiritually invisible or insignificant. Accepting those deceptive feelings lowers your spiritual defenses, creating dangerous openings for demonic influence. Laws despised by humankind constitute an offensive policy. Speak your truth boldly, with holy fire burning in your heart. Speak like someone I treasure deeply. Move like someone I have specifically set apart for divine purposes. See your life path as one I am actively watching over and guiding. Divine communication and recognition. I have been reaching out to you in ways you might not have consciously recognized or acknowledged. Even while you slept, I sent messages through spiritual dreams, through sudden moments of divine knowing, and through meaningful words spoken by other people. Heaven has never stopped believing in your potential and calling. That extended period of spiritual quiet and waiting is coming to a definitive close now. Even at this very moment, the dark powers that were sent specifically to hold you back spiritually are beginning to pull away from you. This retreat is not happening because you fought them off through your own strength, but simply because you have heard and received these words with an open heart. The very act of hearing my voice with genuine spiritual receptivity weakens their hold over your life significantly. If you respond with concrete action, if you speak up with holy courage and spiritual boldness, these dark forces will disappear so completely that they will not trouble your home or family again. Immediate action required. However, you must act genuinely and immediately. Do not wait for a more convenient time. Do not allow doubt to creep in and undermine your faith. Do not let mere human reasoning block the way my spirit wants to move powerfully inside your life. I created you to carry supernatural strength, not to live in spiritual fear. The deep fear you have felt does not originate from your true nature. It was artificially planted there by subtle whispers from dark spiritual places. That fear is foreign to who you really are. Push it away decisively. Speak against it with authority. Declare with unshakable certainty, my divine purpose is greater than any opposition I face. When you speak those words with deep spiritual conviction, your true identity resonates powerfully throughout my heavenly realm, triggering a supernatural response. The divine work has begun in your life. Supernatural manifestations. You might experience a sense of coolness or warmth. You might perceive that something invisible but benevolent is near. This is not spiritual danger. This represents my divine brightness and presence. Do not turn away from it in fear or confusion. You must not surrender your true spiritual position to the forces of darkness. This is exactly what they desperately want. For a spirit created for divine honor to live as if spiritually impoverished in dark places of limitation and defeat. You must not allow this spiritual tragedy to occur. You will not permit this to happen because you understand your true calling and identity. You are someone whose life's purpose directly impacts what will happen in the future. You are someone whose very existence changes the spiritual trajectory of those who come after you. This is who you truly are in my eyes. Your cosmic significance. The moment you were born into this world, the order of heaven itself shifted slightly to accommodate your arrival. When you took your first breath, an ancient trembling went through the realm of those who oppose me. Satan saw the divine light burning within you. He observed how bright your spirit was from the very beginning. In that moment, he declared, "If I don't stop this one quickly, I might lose my spiritual hold permanently." So he immediately sent out lies and deceptions. He dispatched circumstances designed to turn you away from your divine purpose, planted feelings of shame and inadequacy, and orchestrated difficult situations that kept recurring in your life. But you continued moving forward despite every obstacle. Because you persevered through every test, you now stand precisely at the edge of extraordinary spiritual possibility. The moment everything changes, this represents something far greater than simply choosing a different direction for your life. This is the exact moment that everything in the spiritual realm has been waiting for with anticipation. The dark forces who plotted against you are now afraid, simply because you remain present, spiritually alive, and reachable by the one who holds you securely. Even if you have stumbled in the past, even if you feel you haven't lived up to divine standards, even if you see yourself as unworthy, especially then, I call out to you with even greater love and determination. My love for you is not merely a conditional agreement or contract. It represents a holy covenant I established, sealed by giving up what was most precious to me. This covenant declares, I will hold on tightly even if others let go of me. My beloved one, the powers of darkness will not achieve victory. Not now, not while you choose to step forward in faith. Let the strong spiritual passion inside your heart ignite again with divine fire. Freedom and victory. Let the holy grief for what has been lost be set free and transformed. Let every lie be expelled immediately by the authority of the one who reigns supreme over all creation. You possess supernatural strength. I keep you constantly in my thoughts. You are completely free from condemnation and judgment. You have been divinely called for a specific purpose. You carry my spiritual mark of ownership, and you will certainly rise up into your full destiny. Sense the supernatural change occurring around you right now. I am closer to you than ever before, my child, noticing every breath you take, every thought you hold, every moment when you surrender yourself into my care. You may not fully comprehend this moment's eternal weight and significance, but all of heaven recognizes its tremendous importance. Each passing second is spiritually significant. Every beat of your heart is known and held securely by me. Generational impact. This day, right now, holds the supernatural power to rewrite the spiritual story for your entire family lineage forever. The decisions you make in this moment will impact generations yet to be born. I see the many emotional wounds you have tended to when you were completely alone. You are not who other people said you were. You never were what their words declared about you. They attempted to confine you with labels I would never use to describe you: worthless, abandoned, too broken to be valuable, invisible and forgotten. This is exactly why spiritual darkness flooded your life with so many distractions and artificial attractions. Satan placed invisible spiritual chains around your thinking. Chains of selfish desire, uncertainty, confusion, spiritual laziness, and paralyzing fear. His strategy was not to destroy you immediately, but to wear you down gradually until you forgot that I made you special and called you for a unique purpose. Heaven remembers. But heaven remembered everything about you, my beloved one. That truth is now actively touching your life in powerful ways. Even now, the spiritual atmosphere around you feels different. Even now, the invisible realm is making room for divine intervention. Do not be startled if you sense warmth upon your shoulders or a cool sensation near your head. Do not be frightened by the holy weight settling upon your heart. It is not fear you are feeling, but the presence of the living God. Your physical body is reacting to the one who existed before the stars were formed. Your spirit is awakening from spiritual sleep. The dark ones attempted to infiltrate your dreams recently, didn't they, my child? You might not remember every detail, but they were present nearby, whispering lies quietly, reaching out with spiritually cold touches. But they could not cross the spiritual boundary I established around you. Why? Because one quiet call from your heart was sufficient for heaven to establish that protective boundary. Strengthening spiritual boundaries. However, these spiritual boundaries are not permanent unless you actively work to make them strong through prayer, worship, and faithful obedience. Tonight they will attempt their infiltration again. They are convinced that you no longer believe you can stand against them effectively. They assume you have become too spiritually numb, too worn out by life's pressures, too easily distracted by trivial things, but prove them wrong through decisive spiritual action. My voice longs to call you back again into intimate fellowship. It desires to speak gently during the quiet hours of night. But to hear that soft, loving sound, you must quiet all the competing noises and distractions. The dark spirit connected to your family's spiritual history is stirring again with renewed activity. He returned with increased boldness because the previous person in your ancestry who stood against him eventually yielded to temptation and compromise. The weight of spiritual responsibility. This spiritual road feels heavy now, my child, and it truly is weighty. Your spiritual walk affects far more than just your individual life. It impacts those who have not yet arrived, those you do not see, and those you may never meet in this life. Everyone connected to you who does not yet understand how critically important your spiritual stand is for their future well-being depends on your faithfulness. Do you comprehend how much your faithful obedience troubles the kingdom of darkness? Do not allow this tremendous spiritual power to be wasted through passivity or compromise. Remaining silent allows spiritual conditions to continue unchanged. Speaking divine truth boldly represents your stand against the enemy. Giving yourself completely to me is where your authentic spiritual strength is discovered and released. It's never too late. Do not listen to the deceptive lies that whisper you are too late to make a difference. While you still draw breath, your story with me continues to unfold with infinite possibilities. One step taken in faith with me can completely change the trajectory of everything darkness planned against you. My divine covering surrounds you again like an impenetrable shield. You are not left spiritually exposed or vulnerable. The protection I provide requires your conscious, ongoing choice to receive it. Do not welcome back into your life what makes things spiritually unclean or compromised. Look away from things that consistently bring problems and complications. Do not listen to words that twist truth or distort reality. Do not allow the deep longings of your spirit to be satisfied by things that are ultimately hollow and meaningless. Created for glory. You were created for spiritual shining and radiance, my beloved, for joy that endures permanently, not temporary comfort that fades quickly. You were made for seeing circumstances as heaven sees them, not through fears planted by spiritual darkness. The holy purpose I placed inside you has not disappeared or been destroyed. It has been temporarily hidden by seasons of waiting and difficulty, but it stands ready to emerge with power. You must keep this purpose holy and protected. What is holy should never be mixed with what is spiritually unclean or contaminated. I am calling you back to honor me fully, back to spiritual cleanliness and purity, back to being completely set apart for my purposes. Perhaps you have felt unseen and forgotten, my child, but I kept you safe and protected during every moment. I covered you carefully to guard that holy purpose inside you, and now I am allowing you to be seen again. Not first by others, but by yourself. Rediscovering your identity. Look deeply inside yourself with spiritual eyes. Do you feel the divine light burning within? Do you sense the movement of my spirit in your heart? That inner stirring represents a sign of my presence dwelling there. That is the heart of why I created you. It is your spirit remembering where it truly belongs. The next phase of your spiritual walk is being shaped right now, not with temporary things from this world, but with eternal materials that come directly from my heart. From this moment forward, walk like someone who knows with absolute certainty. You are not lost or confused about your purpose. You are not wandering without a clear path. You are not common or ordinary in my eyes. You are not a mistake or accident. You were specifically chosen for a particular way of life. You carry my divine word within your spirit. You are a tool in my hands for accomplishing my purposes. You can always reach me through prayer and worship. Your story is far from over. Your importance to me remains unshakable. The transformation begins. Even now, my spirit is actively moving in your life. Your name shines brightly in the registry of those I love with eternal affection. Your inner self has just crossed an invisible spiritual line that human eyes cannot see. Only spirits can perceive this supernatural transition. Even though this part of your spiritual walk feels complete, the deeper battle is far from over. It has just begun in an entirely new dimension, with greater stakes and more powerful spiritual forces at work. You have awakened to your true calling, and the dark forces are responding with increased activity, not because you performed great religious acts or achieved spiritual perfection, but because you chose to listen carefully enough for my voice to penetrate through all the noise and distractions of this world. That simple choice to listen with your heart spoke directly to my heart, and now I am responding with divine intervention on your behalf. Signs of divine activity. You will begin to see supernatural signs again. Watch carefully for things you did not expect. Old spiritual truths you had forgotten will suddenly return to your memory with fresh clarity. Thoughts that feel like they originate from beyond your own mind will begin appearing in your consciousness. These represent direct messages from me to guide and encourage you. You did not walk away from me during the difficult times, and now the consequences of that faithful choice begin to manifest in your circumstances. What was taken from you unjustly will be restored to you abundantly. Good opportunities that were blocked or delayed will come to you quickly. Relationships that were broken because of your commitment to walk with me will be repaired or replaced by connections I personally arrange. The spiritual gifts I placed inside you, which seemed to be sleeping or inactive, will suddenly become powerful when you actively seek me, practice stillness before me, and genuinely desire my presence above all else. Growing spiritual authority. Soon your words will carry supernatural weight, literally changing the spiritual atmosphere of rooms when you speak. You will walk into places where spiritual darkness has been established, and that darkness will flee simply because you are present and connected to me. When you reach out to help those who are hurting emotionally or spiritually, I will be there, working through you with healing power. You are entering a season when you will see me more clearly than ever before in your life. My presence will become more obvious, my guidance more distinct, and my love more tangible. But walk with your spiritual eyes wide open, my child, because your steps now carry eternal significance. What you choose to look at has the power to influence spiritual atmospheres. This is not about performing religious activities without heart engagement. This represents my authentic way of living in supernatural connection with me. This is not merely following external steps or rituals. This is the genuine reality of spiritual existence. You are the dwelling place where my spirit lives, a holy temple I inhabit. Maintaining spiritual purity. Be extremely careful about what you allow inside your heart and mind. Pay close attention to this transitional time, my child. Understand that the opposition will make one final, concentrated attempt to distract you. A last spiritual assault will seek to turn your attention away from me, to make you dismiss the seriousness of this moment. Through fleeting entertainment, constant busyness, or a false sense of security and ease, resist that pull with all your spiritual strength. Stay present with me in this sacred space right now. Allow this time to complete its transformative work inside your spirit, because what comes next holds profound eternal meaning. You will begin to understand who you truly are at the deepest level. You will discover the name I call you, distinct from any name given by people. This understanding may come gradually in pieces, or perhaps suddenly, when you are quiet before me. But when you perceive it clearly, your deepest self will recognize it instantly. And when you acknowledge it directly to me, it will open spiritual pathways that no person can block or hinder. Divine affirmations. You were always meant to exist. You were never overlooked or forgotten. You are not running behind schedule in my plans. No spiritual shadow rests upon your life. You are not inadequate or insufficient. I have set you apart for specific purposes. And now the invisible realm echoes with supernatural activity. Those aligned with me in heaven are actively supporting you. My presence is stirring the quiet spaces within your spirit with fresh, divine life. Your next step with me will send powerful ripples through the foundations of spiritual darkness. This is not an ending or a farewell. This marks the beginning of true understanding and the dawning of your authentic self coming into full view. The impact of surrender. So if these words have stirred something deep inside you, if my nearness has reached the core of your being, if even for a moment you sensed the closeness of eternity within your heart, then do not step back as if nothing has fundamentally shifted. I shaped you to carry something so distinct, so spiritually weighty, so filled with my divine radiance, that even a single moment of complete surrender to me causes the powers of shadow to tremble and their carefully laid schemes to fail completely. Do you understand now why the spiritual challenges felt so prolonged, so difficult, so specifically focused upon you? It is because Satan knew that if you ever grasped your true reality in me, he would lose not only you, but the positive spiritual impact you are meant to have on countless others. You hold within your spirit the supernatural ability to break spiritual chains, a way of being that causes limitations to yield simply through your presence, connected to me. Why the opposition was so intense. That is why the enemy sought to wear you down through small, persistent setbacks, concealed spiritual weights, and invisible bonds of discouragement, because he understood he could not completely destroy you. Instead, he attempted to persuade you to abandon hope in your own divine calling and identity. But you did not surrender. You are still here, still breathing, still reachable by my love. And now something extraordinary is being revealed. Access is being granted to your true identity in me. This spiritual entry point reveals the aspect of you that has been inactive and dormant. The supernatural capacities I built into you, the divine permission to advance spiritually, and the ultimate reason for your existence are all being activated. But this activation is only available when your inner core fully aligns with my will and purpose. Supernatural transformation. Even now, the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you is shifting dramatically. Even your thinking patterns are beginning to align with the reality found in my presence. The confusion you felt is lifting like morning fog. The heaviness that weighed on you for so long is growing lighter, my cherished one. Why is this transformation occurring? Because the moment you remember the self I created you to be, the grip of spiritual shadow begins to release automatically. You cannot fully comprehend the rage filling many dark forces right now because they believed they had captured you permanently in spiritual bondage. But you did not yield to their pressure. You maintained your spiritual ground. Even when you felt weak and vulnerable, you remained spiritually steady. Even when you were quiet and withdrawn, you stayed spiritually aware. Even during the most difficult seasons, you remained alert to my voice. Everything you endured is known and recorded in the invisible realm. I have not overlooked a single one of your silent cries for help. Not one prayer was meaningless or forgotten. They were collected and treasured like precious gems. The fruit of perseverance. Now the fruit of those hidden appeals is manifesting suddenly, like swift lightning illuminating the sky. You will discover your true spiritual value, learning to treat yourself with the gentleness and respect you deserve, because you must first be spiritually full within yourself before you can offer genuine encouragement to others. You must embrace the truth of how precious you are, formed intentionally by my will and held securely close to my heart. This is not spiritual arrogance or pride. It is simply living in the reality of who you actually are. You belong completely to me. When you truly grasp the infinite depth of my love for you, you will naturally care for others with the same sincerity and compassion you show yourself. You will feel genuine tenderness toward those who suffer, having personally known hardship and pain. You will demonstrate patience with those who find life difficult, understanding the weight of challenges because you have carried such weights yourself. You will discover the inner strength to live with empathy instead of constantly pointing out flaws and failures in others. The change I desire. This represents the transformation I long to see unfold within your heart and life. My cherished child, prepare your inner spiritual space to receive the blessings I have specifically prepared for you. These gifts carry no sorrow, regret, or negative consequences. What I provide flows directly from who I am, designed to lift you up spiritually and bring deep rest to your weary soul. Understand this fundamental truth. I take no pleasure in your tears or your difficulties. What I most desire is always to rescue, to heal completely, and to restore beyond what was lost. Entrust your future concerns completely into my capable hands. I will supply abundantly, but not merely with temporary things of this world. Beyond material provision, I will fill your inner being entirely with supernatural peace and true contentment that cannot be shaken by circumstances. Divine promises. I will make your relationships with others rich with understanding and mutual care. My love for you produces good things that cannot be measured by human standards or worldly values. While the world pursues temporary, fleeting matters, I call you to focus on me, the one who provides eternal existence and genuine satisfaction that never disappoints. The good gifts I offer are secured by my constant care and unwavering loyalty. They carry no hidden sorrow or regret. Trust completely the words I speak to you, my child. Receive them fully into your heart without reservation. Let these truths become the unshakable bedrock for a confidence that cannot be disturbed by any external circumstances. Offer your gratitude even before you witness the physical manifestation of change, because true faith gives thanks for what is coming before it arrives in visible form. Positioning for blessing. Remain spiritually steady and positioned. Be ready to receive everything I want to give you. I am actively clearing a pathway for blessings to flow abundantly into your life. You simply need to bring your heart into complete harmony with mine, allowing my words to be permanently etched upon your spirit like inscriptions on stone. Do not hesitate or question whether you are worthy of such blessing. The one I sent, my Son, has already prepared the pathway completely. I have released you from all condemnation and declared you righteous in my eyes. I have forgiven every mistake and remember them no more. Accept the endless grace I extend freely and let feelings of shame be lifted away permanently. Lift your spiritual gaze upward, for you are profoundly loved by me. made pure and set completely free. Freedom from the past. Do not let your vision be clouded by past sadness, or your mind burdened by roads you did not travel or opportunities you missed. I am the one who parts seas of impossibility, who breaks chains of bondage, who restores what was stolen or lost. If I have authority over life and death itself, can you not believe that I am able to make whole again every shattered part of your life? Even from the lowest valley of despair and hopelessness, I can bring you out victorious, my beloved one. Yes, from moments of doubt and confusion, I can make your path plain and clear. Let go of every worry and anxiety completely. I have seen every tear you have shed in private. I gather every tear as a valued indication of your spirit's deep desire for something better. I offer you my supernatural peace instead of anxiety. Understanding divine purpose. You might question the hardships, the dark seasons, and the times you felt completely isolated and alone. I assure you with absolute certainty, my plan will use every difficult experience to build an unshakable testimony of my faithfulness. Draw close to me now. Let me plant fresh hopes inside your heart. Let me rekindle the spark of expectation that life's disappointments tried to extinguish permanently. Even if you feel you have nothing left to say to me, just come and rest silently in my presence. I know what your heart feels without you needing to speak a single word. There, in that still, quiet place, I will hold you in my endless care and comfort, which in turn will hold you and show you all that the faith of our saints means. When anxious thoughts threaten to overwhelm your mind, I will speak supernatural calm into your restless thinking. My spirit will assure you that you are never alone, not even for a single instant. I am always with you, even when your emotions suggest otherwise. Your unique calling. Know with absolute certainty that I am guiding you toward the unique purpose I have specifically for you, my child. There is extraordinary significance in your spiritual journey, a divine calling placed within your soul that no one else can fulfill quite like you. As you lean on me more completely, I will reveal deeper understanding to you gradually. I will help you discern the true spiritual condition and intentions of those you meet. I will grant you supernatural wisdom and a special ability to offer hope to many people, enabling you to say things that lift spirits when others feel downcast and discouraged. Your life will clearly demonstrate your closeness to me, and others will be drawn to the goodness and peace they observe in you. Receiving divine gifts. Open your soul completely to receive what I want to give you. I am providing good gifts that will increase your faith and bring lasting happiness to your inner self. But stay close to me constantly. Do not let the good gifts I give you cause you to stop depending on me completely. Always remember that everything good comes exclusively from me as your source. Tell me now about your faith and confirm that your confidence in me remains strong and unshakable. Breathe in my closeness with every breath you take. Breathe out your doubts and fears as you exhale. Affirm your certainty in my love for you. Let your devotion to me be visible not only in your words, but in your choices, your actions, and in the way you live your entire life. Persevering through difficulty. Keep aligning yourself completely with my will, even when your circumstances seem hopeless and unchangeable. In my kingdom, the darkest hour often comes just before the brightest dawn breaks, with new possibilities. Perhaps your heart still wonders, why have I experienced so much sadness and pain? I know every question swirling in your thoughts with perfect understanding. Hear this clearly, my beloved one. I do not allow your difficulties to be wasted or meaningless. I will collect every tear you have cried, every cry of pain, every moment of deep grief, and use them all to produce lasting good from your struggles. Hard times can build tenderness, understanding, and deeper wisdom within your character. These qualities become the tools I will use through you to bring comfort to others who are suffering. When you walk closely with me, nothing you experience lacks meaning or purpose. Victory through surrender. Even the hardest parts of your path can become moments of triumph when you yield them completely to my guidance and trust my plan. My child, find deep rest, knowing that your future days are completely secure in my keeping. I know that you sometimes feel profound unease about losing what matters most to you. Perhaps your efforts and work, the people you hold dear, or your own well-being and security. But I urge you with all my heart, place every burden upon me completely. My hold on you is infinitely more secure than any grip you could ever have on the things of this temporary world. The ways of the world pressure you to constantly strive and grasp for control over outcomes. But my way offers a completely different kind of peace. Divine invitation to peace. I invite you to settle into the absolute certainty of my ultimate care over every detail of your life. Stand firm, knowing with confidence that I guide your path forward into good things. Do not allow anxious thoughts to silence the quiet knowing that I am always watching over you with perfect love. You possess a strength you may not fully recognize, for it is I who uphold you through every challenge and trial. Trust me completely, my beloved child. Your life is safe in my hands. Your future is secure in my plan. Your heart can rest in my love. This is not the end of our conversation. This is the beginning of a life lived in conscious awareness of my presence with you always. Walk forward now in confidence, knowing that you are deeply loved, divinely protected, and eternally secure in my care. The best of your story is yet to be written, and I am writing it with you, for you, and through you. This message represents a call to spiritual awakening, divine protection, and eternal purpose. It speaks to the reality of spiritual warfare, while emphasizing the greater power of divine love and the security found in surrendering completely to God's will and plan.